Hey guys, how you doing? Listen, I want to share something with you that really helped me. It didn't just help me; it helped me to change my life, and it's something that I wanted to share. And I want to make sure that I get this. I can transfer this understanding over to you, so you'll be able to hopefully be able to do this yourself. It's life changing, and this is how I overcome my social anxiety. This is how I got myself out of the 9-to-5 jobs, because I didn't enjoy doing that. And it's pretty much, it's everything how I've overcome fears. It's everything I've achieved, and it's things that I'm still working on, and it's the basis of everything. And it's confidence. When I was a young boy growing up, I was always absolutely mesmerized with confident people, and I'm not exaggerating. I was so, what's the word? I felt so jealous, I felt so inadequate, and I felt so alienated, but I felt so, I don't know if inspired is the right word, just fascinated. I was fascinated with confident people because I wasn't confident when I was younger. I wasn't confident because my self-confidence got shattered from a very young age, and that was from a childhood trauma. It was many other events around that, and I developed a belief that I just felt was cemented in my psychology, in every part of my being, the way I walked, the way I spoke, the way I could listen, everything, my whole identity. I'm not confident. What made it even worse, I was embarrassed that I wasn't confident. To go on even further, I was ashamed, I was guilty, and I was furious. I had so much hate and anger. And again, this can sound almost like, it could sound crazy, but that was the truth. Because I realized from a very young age, from in my teens, that if you don't have confidence in this world, you will struggle. There's no doubt about it. If you're not a confident person, every part of your life is going to suffer. So this may be really obvious what I'm going to say, but I'm just explaining it. So let's say, for example, you want to say something. You want to say something and you want to express something that you feel is really important, like what I'm doing now in the video. But before you go to say it, there's a voice comes up and says, hey, what are you doing? You haven't got a right to say that. People are not going to listen to you. You're worthless, or you're stupid. People are going to think you're an idiot, or people are going to think you're not a man. That's the type of inner monologue I had from a young age. Or when you do go to say it, you stutter. You've got anxiety. That's a small example, but you see that small example there? That was the infection. That was the same fear and problem that affected my relationships with the whole world and people. It gave me social phobia, social anxiety. I was always terrified of confident people. I was frightened of people in general, but especially confident people, because it magnified my lack of confidence, made me feel envious. I used to think confident people were bullies. I know it sounds crazy, but that's how I felt. When I'd meet confident people, obviously they wouldn't know that I had issues. I was a young boy. Whether it was adults, I was just scared all the time. Scared of my family as well. Scared of sitting in a room and just relaxing. Found it difficult to breathe. Would get a tightening in my chest. And I remember thinking, God, I'm going to be like this for the rest of my life. I'm going to be worthless. I'm never going to be confident. How am I going to get through this? And I always seen my father as a confident man. I've seen examples of confident people in my family. I've seen it in school. So I knew what a confident person looks like, or I had some idea. And plus you can sense it when you meet people. You can sense a person's level of self-confidence, and we all can. And for a long time I felt like I was living a lie, because it's a real contradiction within the truth. But for me, I felt, I know I'm not confident deep down. I don't have self-confidence. I'm frightened of what people think about me. I'm scared to express myself. I'm embarrassed all the time, and I'm angry, and I'm hateful, and I don't enjoy being like that. And I couldn't accept that. I thought, there's no way I'll never be happy in my life if I don't build my self-confidence. So like I said, the confidence is the very core of your being, or maybe it's just a word we use. We'll stay on confidence for now. So even to go and play football, I thought, I'm actually quite good at football, but I don't have the confidence to go into the football pitch and play with the kids at this particular time of my life because it's too crowded. I feel self-conscious, I feel embarrassed. If they pass the ball to me, I'm going to freeze up. And it would happen to me a lot in football tournaments, and I was actually a very good football player, but I didn't have the confidence to play in front of people. I was very good one-on-one when I played with my dad, or kicking the ball around myself. In my mind, I knew how to play with the ball, I was very skillful, I had a good shot, but if you've got a big crowd around, the voices came up and I was filled with social anxiety. Then it went on to really small things, like just the confidence to do anything. So my lack of confidence affected everything. Then I remember noticing from a young age women, you know, looking at me and me looking at them, but never having the confidence to go over and speak to them. Or when I got introduced by family members, when I go to a party, and I'd be so excited to go, but I'd be so nervous, so scared, because I knew that I'd have to confront people, and the first thing I'd think is they're going to think I'm not confident. They're actually going to see that I'm not confident, and that's going to, what if I make a mistake? So there's a big fear around making mistakes, and that's really what a lack of confidence is about. Confident people, it's not that confident people don't make mistakes, but they're confident within their mistakes. Does that make sense? So they've got all the vulnerabilities and the fears that a person at a current stage in their life doesn't, you know, has, but they deal with it better. And that's what gives the illusion of confidence. But I also remember thinking, and I can't remember the exact age because this lack of confidence went through all out my 20s. I hid a lot of my insecurity through my physical attributes because I was quite good at fighting, I was violent, but that was nothing to be proud of, and that never actually gave me social confidence. And that is the most important thing in this world. If you don't have social confidence, well, you've watched this video now, so you will have social confidence. I'm going to teach you. You're going to find it very difficult. How are you going to do the job that you want to do? Because you've got to face people. How are you going to get a promotion? How are you going to start your own business? Some people want to go and study in university. I had the same thing. I didn't have the confidence to go and study. I felt inadequate. It wasn't so much the study itself, it was being around people, it was being exposed. It was social anxiety. So my lack of self-worth and self-confidence was all my shyness and my anxiety. I was so embarrassed by it. And of course, if someone was to comment on it or make me feel more bad about it, I'd lose my temper, and that would be another story, and that would make me feel awful. So I remember thinking, and I thought this the other day again, there is a way to overcome this. There is one way. There's not 50,000 ways. There is one way. Practice. I knew it. I didn't read it in a book. By this time, this young age, this really came upon me at age 19 when I was very into Bruce Lee. And I was interested in building my physique up, and again I had a lot of confidence issues about going to the gym. Even my mum did. My mum would always say to me, "Are you going to be alright? You're going to be alright." Obviously she's a very good caring mum, but because she could see, you know, my whole relationships were designed around me being incapable all throughout my 20s, my early 20s, and kind of later 20s up to about 24, 25. So I remember it just clicked, and I don't know where I got it from. It just came, it was intuitive, and I knew it, and it was so obvious, and I thought, I could change this if I practice. And the saying is simple, practice makes perfect. Then I remember thinking, because I was getting all these other thoughts saying, oh come on Johnny, either you have it or you don't. And I remember thinking, what is confidence? Because I studied confident people, because obviously I had social anxiety at the time, and you overanalyze things. So maybe some people are naturally more confident than others. So it could be genes, it could be genetics. You could have come from a family that's very confident, successful, or even not even successful materially, just a very close-knit family that are very close, very extroverted. And then you go into a private school, you go to a school and you hang around with a social circle, and you've always had that, you've always been around confident people, so you don't know any different. And a lot of confident people, I used to think, they probably don't even know that they're confident, because to them it's normal. For me it's alien, because I don't have that level of confidence. I can't even raise my voice the way they can. And I remember thinking, but I've also seen other people that they weren't confident. I might have seen them at school, and then I met them 4 years later and they transformed, and I thought, well, if they can do it, why can't I do it? Why can't I do it? And of course I could do it, and I knew I could do it, but it meant facing fear. Because practicing something that we're not good at always means initially, or for maybe for an extended period of time, being uncomfortable. It's not comfortable when you're a socially anxious man who is afraid, or when you're not confident in anything and you start practicing something that you want to get good at. It's not comfortable. We have books out there telling us it's going to happen in one day. We have seminar tapes. I don't listen to that rubbish. I knew the truth for me, but it really excited me, and it sounds mad to say this, well, maybe it doesn't. I started to get excited that I was so insecure, because I thought, that's my fuel. Because you'll often hear in motivation talks and videos, and this is right, it's a truth, but it wasn't my truth. They'll say, gotta find inspiration, gotta find this, gotta find that, and I say it on my old videos. Insecurity, in my experience as a man, as a student and a teacher, is the most powerful motivational thing in a man's locker. There's no better motivation like poverty. When you're poor and you've got no money and you're struggling to pay the rent and you're eating rubbish food and you have to steal, you have to lie, that starts motivating you to want to change. Obviously there's some people that they can't get out of it, they let fear beat them. But that was my motivation. I thought, I'm tired of not being confident all the time, from the most simplistic, mundane things like going into the shop and being able to have eye contact and intimacy and just ordering some food over the counter without having a panic attack. And then the next one was when I'm in a social setting, actually to be able to verbalise my opinion, not to just have it in my head, but say I better keep my mouth shut in case someone gets offended, or, you know, I've upset someone or they upset me. I knew this was like breath, like I'm breathing now, this is air. I had to build this. And I started to realise that confidence is not something you buy in Sainsbury's. Confidence is not something you fucking order on Amazon. Confidence is something that you have to find within yourself. I prefer that word, you have to find it. It's in you. But you can't just access it by going, I'll just be confident. These things have some truth in it, but it's not the full extent of the truth, not for me anyway. So I needed practice. I needed to practice exposing myself to the feelings of anxiety and speak to people. It was so obvious, it was so right in my face. I knew my ignorance was actually good, because I knew there's no point me getting a book on how to win friends and influence people. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need tricks. I need to actually go and face what's making me afraid and get around people that are more confident than me and practice talking to them, practice getting used to those feelings, and just the more I do it, the feelings are there, but they start to lessen. And the more you practice, the more the feelings lessen. Then you start to get to a stage where you get excited about doing the practice, because you can actually see that the practice is working. When you see something's working and you can feel that it's working, it's common sense tells you, if you're practicing something for a month, and when you first started you had zero confidence, and you did a month's practice, and after a month your confidence went up even 5%, you do another month, 10%, you do another month, 20%, then maybe you get to 30, then it kind of stops, and you need to push yourself more, you need to exert yourself more. Maybe, for example, you've been speaking to people on a one-to-one basis, then you push yourself, you do public speaking, you speak in front of 50 people, that's what I did. Then the confidence goes up to 50% and you get excited. Then you meet other people and you think, fucking hell, they're really confident. I'm quite confident, but they're on another level. Then you start getting around them, learning from them, and then you think, well, hang on a second, this is actually exciting, because, and I'm saying this for you, this is not for me. I'm talking about how I thought back then and where I know. I'm talking to you right now. You who's actually watching my video, because I've made the transformation. I want you to learn this, because it makes me feel good to teach you this, because I never had this when I was younger. I learnt myself. You start saying, I'm glad I was born with no confidence, I'm glad I had trauma, I'm glad my confidence is affected, because it's the very thing that's going to make me work my arse off. And just to be a little bit competitive, all the people that were naturally confident, I'll be more confident in them. Usually I'm not really a person who likes to tell you to compete with people, but for this video I'm going to break the rules, as Arnold Schwarzenegger says, not the law. I'm going to break the rules to help you personally get confidence. So then you say, they were born confident, it's all they ever know, but they don't work on themselves. They're not thinking confidence every day. They're not feeding confidence. They're not working on insecurity. So it's only a matter of time before you overtake them. And of course you do. You overtake them and you realise sky's the limit. And then there's always people that are more confident than you, and there's always the next level, and then it just never stops, and it becomes exciting. And then you get to a stage where maybe you want to do what I do. You help people with their confidence. And of course, because it makes you feel good to help people and get them confident, you become more confident. And then you get to a level where maybe this is more what happens to me spiritually, where you actually stop caring. You don't mind if you're not the confident person in the room. Does that make sense? This is another level up where you actually start letting it go, and then there's even more confidence there. And then you're looking for areas in your life, you're actually searching, you're excited, going, where am I insecure? Where am I insecure with my finances? Do I struggle with money? Let's work on that. If you're struggling with money, you practice and learn how to make money. It takes confidence to admit that you're struggling with money and you're going to work on it. Then you go to other areas. You might say, I'm struggling to have the confidence to talk to my mum or dad. I've never really had an open relationship. We always have small talk. I never really feel I'm really being my full self. So you practice being your full self. It's difficult initially because you're in a pattern where you've always behaved in a particular way in a certain situation. You're comfortable there, but you're not happy. So then you start practicing coming out of your comfort zone. Everything I'm saying takes confidence. It takes confidence for me to do this video and to speak so honestly and with such certainty, because I've got success in my life. Self-confidence breeds more confidence. So I really wanted to say that you're not on your own, because that's how I felt years ago. I used to feel so embarrassed and inadequate, and then of course when you become confident, you realise, like I said, that everyone's got some sort of insecurities, and it's your choice, it's your responsibility. So you don't need to compete with anyone but yourself. The only person you should be in competition is with you. Then when you compete with yourself, no one can touch you. You'll be the best at what you do. You'll be authentic at what you do. So this really, that's how I overcome social anxiety, by practicing it. Meetings, one-on-ones, group meetings, public speaking, meditation, all of it. And it's always the most simple things. People always make out it's more difficult. They write books, they do seminars. Whatever you're struggling at, you have to practice. If you're not good at swimming, the only way to get good at swimming is to get in the water and practice swimming. There's no point reading books about it. If you're afraid to speak to women, then you've got to speak to women. You've got to practice speak to women. Again, something where I develop my confidence. So confidence is so important. It's so important. It should, in my opinion, it should be taught in school. It should be a compulsory subject just on its own. How to build confidence. And then there's other areas that are more advanced. You start developing your mind. Because an idiot can build confidence. An absolute idiot. You don't need qualifications to build confidence. Quite often or not, we feel when we're not good at something, we're almost unintelligent. I used to feel, I had a thing in my mind where only intelligent people are confident. Of course, that's a load of rubbish. It's ridiculous. So it's the most exciting thing, and I'm continuing to use this practice. And this is not, it's guaranteed works. Because you know most methods, they'll say, well, nothing's 100%. This is 100%. I don't need it to question it. I don't need to debate it. I'm doing it. I've got the proof for myself, and I want to inspire you to go out and get the proof yourself. And there's not a particular way. What way is there to speak to people? Confidence is not a method. It's a state of consciousness, or it's a particular state of being. Quite hard to fully define it. If I was to go further into it and keep examining it and philosophizing it and going deeper into it, confidence is self-esteem, it's love. So I'm going to leave it there, and I might do some more videos. So that's exactly the template I use to transform my life and to overcome the fear of people and speaking to people. And in any area of my life, whether it was with women, getting better in my dating, whether it was with business, whether it was simple things, going for walks in public, public speaking, YouTube video blogs, writing. I became quite good at writing. I became really good at writing because I practiced it. I never had the confidence to write when I had low self-esteem. I practiced writing for, how long have I been doing it now for? 4 years, but maybe 2 years really, you know, rigorously every day, or at least quite often. So confidence comes from practice. If you convince yourself, oh, people are either born confident or not, that's a cop-out. That's really, really unintelligent to think that. But I can understand why you would play with that thought, because the mind can do that. The false ego can be vicious, but it isn't true, of course. So practice speaking to people if you're afraid of people. Whatever you're afraid of, practice it. Just start really gradually. When you start seeing the feedback come, you'll be more enticed to keep going and do more. And that's what I always say to people when I work with guys on my 6 weeks program. I say, what you're learning with me is great, and they've got excited, they've learned something. You've got to go away, you've got to practice it. You've got to practice it every day. I've always been that way, guys. I've always been, when I'm interested in something, I'm very dedicated. If I'm not interested in something, I've got no motivation. What a better motivation than to invest in yourself? Because if you don't like yourself in the world and you can't communicate with people, you're never going to be happy. It's impossible. And I'll just leave you with one last thing. I don't want to overwhelm you. The practice of honesty and integrity is bar none the most powerful practice. Because people practice being dishonest and get good at that, but that's not a good state of consciousness. That will only get you so far. So if you run a business and you're dishonest, or you're dishonest in your relationships to get sex from women or to get things from people, that confidence you've built, it's not core confidence, it's not integral confidence. It won't last. It will make you unhappy. It may look confident on the exterior, but inside you're rumbling, and eventually you'll get caught out. But if you practiced honesty, obviously this is a metaphor for my teaching, talking to people with honesty, how I'm speaking to you guys now, open, honest, vulnerable. If you run your business with honesty and integrity, if you make honesty the core foundation of everything you do in your life with rigorous practice, there's no reason why you won't be successful. It's almost impossible, but you have to put the work in and do it. I'll see you guys soon. Practice confidence from a place of honesty. Love you, bye.